The calendar read March 31st, 1932. The location, New York. A funeral is taking place under strictly controlled security measures. The body inside the casket does not belong to a criminal or a plague victim. It belongs to one of the wealthiest men in America. Yet, this man is not being laid to rest in a wooden box. He is being sealed inside a specially designed, lead-lined coffin to contain the radiation he will emit for centuries. His name was Eben Byers. He was officially the golden boy of American high society, a steel tycoon, a champion golfer, and a notorious ladies' man. But in his reckless pursuit of eternal youth, he consumed a miracle elixir that would eat him alive. This is the tragic true story of Radithor, and the man who fell apart before the world's eyes. To understand how a highly intelligent man like Byers could be deceived, we must look at the 1920s. It was the Radium Age. After Marie Curie discovered this glowing element, the world lost its mind. Science had unfortunately not yet fully grasped the dangers. Radium was marketed as the ultimate source of health, a magic element that was literally liquid sunshine. To understand why Eben Byers drank that poison, we have to look at the grocery stores of the 1920s. Radium wasn't just in medicine, it was a lifestyle. Imagine walking into a store. You could buy radioactive toothpaste to make your teeth shine whiter. You could buy radioactive wool for babies, promising to keep them warm. There were even radium chocolate bars sold as a high-energy snack. But the most popular item was the Revigator. This was a ceramic water cooler lined with uranium ore. You would leave water in it overnight to absorb the radiation and drink it in the morning. The slogan was, "Drink from the fountain of youth." Millions of people were unknowingly poisoning themselves every single morning. Eben Byers wasn't an exception, he was just the most famous victim of a society obsessed with glowing in the dark. But Eben Byers was not the only victim. While the rich were drinking radium in crystal glasses, the poor were eating it in factories. Hundreds of young women in watch factories were painting clock dials with glow-in-the-dark radium paint. They were told the paint was harmless. To keep their brush tips sharp, they used the lip, dip, paint technique, putting radium-covered brushes in their mouths hundreds of times a day. These radium girls began to glow in the dark. Soon, their jaws started to rot and their bones crumbled, identical symptoms to what Byers would soon face. But while they fought for justice, Byers was just starting his daily dose. Enter William J.A, a con artist who bottled tap water with radium isotopes and named it Radithor. He marketed it to the rich as a cure for the endocrine system. In 1927, Eben Byers injured his arm and started taking Radithor on his doctor's advice. He felt an immediate placebo effect. Believing he found the fountain of youth, he became addicted. He drank 3 bottles a day, sent cases to his friends, and even fed it to his racehorses. He was unknowingly poisoning everyone he loved. But why did his jaw fall off? Why not his nose or his ears? Here is the terrifying science behind it. Radium behaves chemically very much like calcium. When Eben drank that water, his body thought it was receiving a massive dose of calcium. So, instead of flushing it out, his body deposited the radium directly into his bones to strengthen them. Once inside the bone marrow, the radium began to bombard his tissue with alpha particles, destroying his bones from the inside out. His jawbone, which is under constant stress from talking and chewing, was the first to collapse. Essentially, his own body had been tricked into building its skeleton out of a nuclear bomb. By 1930, Byers had consumed nearly 1,400 bottles. The collapse was horrific. His teeth fell out in clusters. When a lawyer visited him to investigate the fraud, he was horrified. Byers' lower jaw was almost completely gone. He could not speak, he could hardly eat. Holes were forming in his skull. The handsome playboy was now living in a dark room, hiding his face, waiting for the end. Eben Byers died on March 31, 1932. But the story didn't end there. 33 years later, in 1965, an MIT physicist named Rosalie Evans exhumed Byers' body to measure the long-term effects of radiation. When the lead coffin was opened, the results were terrifying. Even after 30 years, his skeleton was still incredibly radioactive. The Geiger counters went wild. The radium had not left him, it had become him. He was sealed back into his lead coffin, where he remains today. William Bailey, the man who sold the poison, died rich and free. But Eben Byers remains a glowing warning from history. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe to Writers of History. See you in the next video.